The reason that she hesitates to touch his clothes is because ceremonially, religiously, she would make him unclean if she touched him. He's a great rabbi. And she is afraid to say, "Could you touch me?" because this is going to make him unclean. So maybe if I just touch just the hem, I just barely touch him, it'll be all right. And I will not have done something wrong that will compromise him as the great teacher and the great rabbi that he is. So she touches his clothes, and it works, right? The fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body she was healed of that plague. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned about in the press and said, "Who touched my clothes?" And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. I have this moment, right, and he's looking. He says, "Somebody touched me. Who touched me?" Now, why doesn't she come out and say, "I did, and I've been healed, thank you"? In one of the other accounts, there are 3 accounts of this, we read, when all denied, "I didn't, it wasn't me." What does she think she's in? She thinks she's in trouble. She thinks she's done something wrong, and so she's hiding. You can almost picture her there, right? Sneaking back in the crowd that he's looking for. He's looking. And there comes a moment, I think it would have been a dramatic moment if you picture, there comes a moment when those eyes meet, and she knows he knows. And then we read, the woman, fearing and trembling, came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. Those 2 words have meant a great deal to me many times in my life, fearing and trembling, because there are times when we fear and tremble and we don't need to fear and tremble. I'll give you an example. I was teaching a class, an adult class, and this was the year that President Benson had asked all the members of the church to read the Book of Mormon. And a sister, one of the women there, raised her hand and she said, "Brother Wilcox, could I ask you a question?" And she was very embarrassed. She said, "I know we've been asked to read the Book of Mormon this year by the president of the church, and I love the Book of Mormon. I've read it many times, but we're studying the New Testament in gospel doctrine this year, and I've been reading the New Testament." She says, "I probably should have enough time to do both, but I just don't, and is it all right that I'm reading the New Testament?" Now, I can just imagine if the Savior came into her ward that day and he looked around and he said, "Somebody here has been reading the New Testament instead of the Book of Mormon." What would she have thought? She would have hid, right? And as he looks for her, and she's, and the eyes meet, fearing and trembling. Now the Savior says to her, "Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace." I think as we try to understand his personality, we need to realize that many of our fearing and trembling times, when that overworked conscience we all have, I can find guilt under every rock. When that overworked conscience makes us feel he disapproves and doesn't accept, that he would say, "Be of good comfort." Reading the Book of Mormon is a good thing. So also is reading the New Testament. Go in peace. We have assurance of his acceptance.